The vastness of space is both beautiful and terrifying. Stars twinkle across the infinite expanse, but for the crew aboard the Thunderstrike, there is no time to appreciate its beauty. They are alone. Surrounded by nothing but darkness, this solitary warship drifts in the endless void. The Thunderstrike is humanity's greatest weapon, a colossal warship built for one purpose, to protect Earth. But now, as the galaxy burns with conflict, this mighty ship is the last line of defense. Humanity's enemy, the Cyrix Empire, is unlike any force ever encountered. They are cold, ruthless, and technologically superior. Their fleets consist of 800,000 warships, each equipped with weapons capable of wiping out entire planets. They don't negotiate. They don't hesitate. They destroy. In the heart of the ship, Captain Leo Matthews stands before a bank of screens, his face set in a grim expression. He stares at the flashing red alert in front of him. It's a transmission from Earth's High Command, and he knows it's bad news. He presses a button, and the voice of General Horace, Earth's most senior officer, fills the room. Captain Matthews, we have no time. The Cyrix fleet is on a direct course for Earth. They are going to arrive in 3 hours. You're our only hope. You must stop them, by any means necessary. Matthews listens intently, his hand gripping the edge of the console. He can hear the tension in the general's voice, the weight of the galaxy's fate resting on his shoulders. He looks around at his crew, people he's known for years, people who've become family. Their faces are filled with fear and uncertainty. They are outgunned, outnumbered, and they know it. The Thunderstrike is a powerful ship, but it is just one ship. And it is facing an enemy fleet that could easily crush them in seconds. Matthews swallows hard, trying to push away the sinking feeling in his stomach. We have to fight, he says, his voice calm but firm. If we're going to die, we die fighting. The crew falls silent. They know they have no choice. The fate of Earth hangs in the balance, and this is their moment to make a stand. The Thunderstrike was built for this, wasn't it? But even as they prepare for battle, they can't shake the gnawing doubt that they might not survive this fight. In the mess hall, soldiers and officers gather around, trying to stay focused. Bonner, a seasoned soldier, sits quietly in the corner. His uniform is dirty, his face hard and weathered by years of battle. But his eyes betray a deep sadness. His thoughts are not on the upcoming battle. Instead, they are with his family, his wife and 2 children back home on Earth. Bonner taps a button on his console, and a small screen lights up. He connects to a secure channel. A face appears on the screen, his wife, Maria. She smiles softly, but it's clear she's worried. Bonner, you be safe out there, she says, her voice trembling. Promise me you'll come back. Bonner forces a smile, but the words catch in his throat. He knows the risks. He knows that there's a very real possibility that he might never see his family again. I promise, Maria. I'll fight for you. I'll fight for Earth. He disconnects the call, his heart heavy with the weight of his promise. He looks around at the other soldiers in the room. They're all thinking the same thing, this could be their final fight. They may never get another chance to say goodbye. Back on the command deck, Captain Matthews takes a deep breath and stands tall. Get ready, he says to his crew. We don't have much time. The crew works in perfect synchronization, preparing for battle. They know that the moment the Thunderstrike enters enemy territory, the cloak must be activated to buy them some time. The ship's cloaking device is one of the most advanced pieces of technology humanity has. It renders the ship invisible to enemy sensors, but only for a short time. Once the cloak is deactivated, the Thunderstrike will be exposed, and vulnerable. The atmosphere is tense as the crew works quickly. Weapon systems power up, and the ship's engines hum to life. Captain Matthews watches, his expression unreadable. Every decision, every action from this point forward will determine whether Earth survives or is lost forever. The cloaking device activates with a soft hum, and the thunderstrike vanishes from the radar screens of the Cyrix fleets. For now, they are safe, hidden in the vastness of space. But this won't last long. The clock is ticking, and every second counts. The crew sits in silence, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. Matthews walks slowly to the window of the command deck and stares out at the blackness of space. His thoughts wander to Earth, to the people he's sworn to protect. He thinks of his own family, his wife, his children. If they're watching from home, they must be praying for him. He can only hope that he can return to them, but right now, his duty is to the crew and to humanity. Nothing else matters. But even with the cloak in place, Matthews knows the odds are stacked against them. The Cyrix Empire has far superior numbers and technology. The Thunderstrike is outnumbered 800,000 to 1. Even with the element of surprise, how long can they last? As the crew prepares for what's to come, the silence is broken by the voice of Bonner. He's standing in the doorway, his face grim but resolute. "We can do this," he says. "We fight for Earth, for our families. If we go down together." His words hit Matthews like a punch to the gut. It's the kind of motivation the crew needs, strong, unwavering resolve in the face of certain death. Matthews nods and turns back to the window. "We fight together," he echoes. "For Earth." As the Thunderstrike silently drifts through the darkness of space, invisible to the enemy, the crew knows that the true battle is about to begin. They are humanity's last hope. And they will fight to the very end, no matter the odds. But time is running out. The Cyrix fleet is drawing closer, and soon, the cloak will be deactivated. The Thunderstrike will no longer be hidden. They must strike first, or face certain destruction. The tension in the command deck is unbearable. The crew is ready, but fear still lingers in the air. Every movement is deliberate. Every breath is heavy with the weight of what's at stake. They know they can't afford to fail. The battle for Earth has begun. And only one question remains: can the Thunderstrike hold its ground against the overwhelming might of the Cyrix Empire? The moment the Thunderstrike drops its cloaking device, the silence of space is shattered. In an instant, the vast expanse is filled with the blinding light of battle. The massive alien fleets, sleek, terrifying, and bristling with weapons, are now fully visible. Their ships seem to stretch on forever, each one a monument to the advanced technology of the Cyrix Empire. These are not just warships, they are instruments of mass destruction, each carrying the might to erase an entire world. The odds are stacked against humanity in ways unimaginable, but this is the moment Captain Leo Matthews and his crew have been preparing for. A heavy, metallic hum fills the Thunderstrike as the ship's weapons systems power up. Railguns charge, their barrels glowing with intensity. Plasma torpedoes lock onto their targets. The crew is steady, knowing what needs to be done. Matthews stands firm at the command deck, his eyes scanning the approaching alien fleet. He gives the order. Fire. The Thunderstrike unleashes a barrage of firepower that lights up the darkness of space. The railguns send massive projectiles speeding toward the nearest alien vessels, while plasma torpedoes streak through the void, leaving fiery trails in their wake. The alien ships retaliate immediately, firing back with their own weapons, laser beams that cut through the cold emptiness of space and energy blasts that hit the Thunderstrike with the force of a hammer blow. The Thunderstrike shudders under the assault, but it remains steady. The human warship weathers the initial wave, its advanced armor holding up just long enough for the crew to retaliate. The ships around them are powerful, but humanity's resolve is even stronger. The crew's focus sharpens as the battle intensifies. Out of nowhere, the alien ships appear in swarms, massive and numerous, surrounding the Thunderstrike on all sides. The Thunderstrike maneuvers, twisting and dodging through the vast emptiness of space. Explosions light up the darkness as enemy fire connects with the ship's shields. Each blast sends a shockwave that rattles the crew to the bone, but they don't falter. The ship dodges a close-range laser strike, but another hit lands, sending sparks flying across the command deck. Captain Matthews grips the edge of the console, his eyes fixed on the displays. The battle is unfolding in a series of intense moments. As alien ships close in from every direction, Matthews' mind works furiously. Every second counts. The crew must hold on just a little longer, until they can outwit the overwhelming force that surrounds them. All hands, brace for impact. Matthews orders. The crew immediately reacts, securing themselves to their stations. The Thunderstrike weaves and ducks through incoming fire, narrowly missing death with each passing second. The ship is taking a beating, but it's not done yet. The crew is relentless. In the heart of the Thunderstrike, Bonner and his team are hard at work, despite the chaos surrounding them. The weapon systems are offline for a split second, and Bonner knows they need to act fast. He doesn't hesitate. He grabs a data pad and starts hacking into the alien fleet's communication systems. The Thunderstrike was never meant to be a master of stealth, but its ability to disrupt enemy systems is unmatched. Bonner's fingers fly over the keyboard, each stroke carrying the weight of humanity's survival. Within moments, he's in. The alien fleet's communication channels light up on his screen, a chaotic jumble of signals and orders. Bonner grins. "Gotcha," he mutters. He manipulates the data flow, inserting fake commands and sending misleading information to the alien fleet. It's a risk, but it's humanity's only shot at survival. As he executes the hack, Bonner watches as several alien vessels, large and imposing, start to move erratically. Their once perfect formations fall apart as confusion spreads throughout their ranks. They no longer communicate with the precision they once had. One of the alien ships, a massive dreadnought, loses its coordination and collides with a smaller fighter. The explosion is magnificent, a fiery ball of destruction that tears through the blackness of space. The Thunderstrike's crew cheers as they watch the chaos unfold. The distraction gives them a brief moment of respite, and they open fire again, taking down a few smaller alien vessels. But as quickly as the chaos arrives, it is replaced by a new wave of enemies. The remaining alien fleet regroups, their numbers unyielding. For every ship that falls, two more take its place. The Thunderstrike is still fighting, but the sheer scale of the alien force is beginning to take its toll. The ship's hull is scarred by laser burns, and several sections are starting to lose power. The crew's spirits remain high, but the reality of the situation is becoming clear. No matter how many they defeat, the odds are still overwhelmingly against them. Status report, Matthews barks. Shields are at 40%, Captain. Weapon systems are holding, but we're taking heavy hits. If this keeps up, we won't last much longer, reports Lieutenant Harper, his voice tense. Matthews looks at the readouts, his mind racing. They can't fight forever. Not against these numbers. The Thunderstrike was never designed for this kind of battle, and they need to find a way to level the playing field. Or face certain defeat. Maintain evasive maneuvers, Matthews orders. We need to buy more time. The Thunderstrike dodges and weaves through the endless waves of alien ships. The space around them is lit by constant explosions, each one a reminder of just how outmatched they are. The alien ships may be technologically superior, but the crew of the Thunderstrike is resourceful. They've proven that much already. Bonner, still deep in the alien communications system, begins searching for another vulnerability. The hacking operation is risky, but it's their only chance. As the battle rages on, he knows that if they can't find a weakness soon, the ship will fall, and with it, humanity's last hope. The crew presses on, each member fighting for their lives and for Earth. But as the alien fleet closes in again, Matthews knows that victory will not come easily. The battle is far from over. This is just the beginning. The Thunderstrike is battered and bruised, but it is still standing, still fighting. Yet with every passing minute, the crew realizes that the true challenge has just begun. The Cyrix Empire's power is overwhelming, and unless they can find a way to turn the tide, humanity's last stand will end in fire and destruction. But Captain Matthews won't give up, not without a fight. And with the crew by his side, there's still a chance, however small, that Earth may survive this onslaught. As the next wave of alien ships draws closer, the tension mounts. Will the Thunderstrike hold its ground long enough to turn the battle? Or is this the beginning of humanity's final stand? The answer lies in the hands of the crew, men and women willing to die for the future of Earth. The Thunderstrike groans under the constant barrage of alien fire. Its once glorious energy shields are flickering, their strength waning with every strike. The ship's hull is covered in scorch marks from the unrelenting bombardment, and the crew is beginning to feel the weight of their situation. With each passing second, they are reminded of how far they are from victory. The alien fleets, endless in number, continue to press in from all sides, their fire never stopping. Captain Matthews stands at the bridge, eyes fixed on the chaos unfolding before them. His face is grim, but his resolve is unshaken. He knows that the Thunderstrike is more than just a ship, it is humanity's final hope. If it falls, Earth falls with it. And yet, as the hours drag on, the crew's energy is fading. The Thunderstrike is taking hits that even its advanced technology cannot fully withstand. The air is thick with tension as the ship shakes under the pounding of alien weapons. Every blast sends vibrations through the crew, every explosion echoes in their bones. Amidst the chaos, the crew keeps fighting, each one determined to keep the Thunderstrike operational, to buy more time for Earth. But the truth is hard to ignore. The energy reserves are nearly depleted. Their once powerful cloaking device is down, and the weapon systems are slowly shutting off, one by one. Suddenly, a loud explosion rocks the ship, sending a shockwave through the bridge. The lights flicker. Crew members brace themselves as alarms blare, warning of a hull breach. Captain Matthews calls for damage control, but the situation is quickly spiraling out of their hands. The Thunderstrike is no longer just battling alien forces, it is fighting against time itself. With every passing moment, they are inching closer to defeat. The worst comes when Bonner, the seasoned soldier and crew member, is critically wounded during a particularly fierce firefight. Bonner has always been the strong, unwavering figure among them, a leader even in the most difficult of times. But this battle has claimed him. As the crew works to get him to the med bay, his face is pale, blood oozing from the deep wound in his side. He coughs weakly, struggling to speak through the pain. "You've got this," Bonner whispers, his voice barely audible. "Don't let them win." These are his last words before he succumbs to the wounds. Bonner's death is not just a personal loss, it is a moment that shatters the hearts of everyone aboard the Thunderstrike. The crew can no longer ignore the reality that they are losing. But Bonner's sacrifice is not in vain. His words, though faint, spark something in each of them, a fire that refuses to go out. As Bonner's body is taken away, Captain Matthews gathers the crew. He stands before them, his face set in a hard expression, but his eyes glisten with a quiet fury. The weight of Bonner's death hangs heavy, but Matthews knows that it is a call to action. It is time to make a stand, to fight until their last breath. "Bonner didn't die for nothing," Matthews says, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "He gave everything for this moment. We fight for him, for Earth, for the future. We don't stop. We keep going. We'll die before we let them take this ship from us. We will not surrender." The crew stands in silence for a moment, each of them reflecting on their fallen comrade. Bonner's death may have weakened them, but Matthews' words ignite something within them, hope, resolve, and a determination that no alien fleet will break. It's a new kind of strength, born from loss, and it steels them for what lies ahead. As the crew wipes away their tears, the battle resumes. The Thunderstrike may be damaged, its energy reserves running low, but its crew is more united than ever. They continue to hold the line against the overwhelming alien forces, refusing to let go of the ship that represents humanity's last hope. The next sequence of events is one of desperation, but also of raw, unyielding determination. The Thunderstrike's crew fights tooth and nail to keep the ship intact, even as the alien forces close in. A new wave of alien robots, massive, metal beasts, boards the ship, forcing human soldiers to engage in brutal, close-quarters combat. The visual drama of the scene is heart-pounding. Sparks fly as metal clashes with metal, and the deafening sounds of combat fill the corridors of the Thunderstrike. Human soldiers, armed with whatever they can find, fight back with an intensity born of desperation. The ship becomes a battleground, and the crew fights not just to survive but to make sure the Thunderstrike survives. The drones aboard the ship spring into action, launching themselves into the fray. These machines, designed for combat, engage the alien robots in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The sound of clashing metal echoes through the ship as drones and alien invaders collide in violent displays of force. The human soldiers join in, armed with energy blades and plasma pistols, cutting down their mechanical enemies with ruthless efficiency. Each battle is more intense than the last. The Thunderstrike's corridors are lit by flashes of energy and the sound of shuffling feet as soldiers move swiftly to defend their ship. The ship itself is a fortress under siege, but it is still standing. Humanity may be outmatched, outgunned, and outnumbered, but the Thunderstrike's crew will never give in. They fight because they have no other choice. They fight because it is the only way to honor the fallen, and to protect Earth. In the midst of this chaos, Captain Matthews remains calm. He's seen his crew rally in the face of insurmountable odds, and he knows that this battle is far from over. But the cost is heavy. The Thunderstrike is more than just a ship, it is the heart of humanity's final stand. With every explosion, every strike, every death, the stakes get higher. But amidst the violence and loss, there is hope, faint, but unwavering. The crew is more united than ever, and as long as they can keep fighting, they will never stop. They will not surrender. They will not give in. But the alien forces are relentless. As the battle rages on, Captain Matthews and his crew know that the true test is just beginning. They have been pushed to their limits, and with Bonner's death still fresh in their minds, the Thunderstrike must face its greatest challenge yet. Will they hold the line? Or will the alien forces finally overwhelm them? The answer will depend on their courage, their resolve, and the strength of their unity. The stakes have never been higher. As the battle rages on, the crew of the Thunderstrike begins to realize the true scope of their predicament. The Cyrix Empire is not only vast in numbers, but it has something far more terrifying in its arsenal, an advanced AI-controlled dreadnought, a colossal warship designed to think and react faster than any human ever could. This AI, far beyond the capabilities of the Thunderstrike's own systems, can anticipate human movements, calculate battle strategies in real time, and launch counterattacks with deadly precision. The fear grips the crew. If they can't find a way to disable this AI, all hope for humanity will be lost. The alien dreadnought emerges from the heart of the alien fleet, an enormous behemoth bristling with weapons, its hull gleaming like a dark monolith against the backdrop of space. Its weapon systems are unlike anything the crew has ever seen. From its massive cannons to its rapid-fire energy beams, the dreadnought is an impenetrable force, almost impossible to defeat. As it draws closer to the Thunderstrike, the crew realizes that they are facing an enemy that cannot be reasoned with, an enemy that calculates their every move and reacts with terrifying efficiency. Captain Leo Matthews stares at the looming dreadnought on the screen, his expression one of steely determination. The odds are more stacked against them than ever before. The Thunderstrike is battered, its power systems nearly drained, and yet the enemy's AI continues to predict their moves with deadly accuracy. Each attempt to fight back only seems to play into the AI's hands. The crew can feel the pressure mounting, their survival depends on finding a way to disable the AI before it wipes them out. With the situation growing more desperate by the second, Matthews takes a deep breath and turns to his crew. "We don't have much time," he says, his voice unwavering. That AI is our only threat. We need to shut it down before it finishes us off. I'm ordering a risky maneuver. A small team will infiltrate the dreadnought and plant a virus to overload its systems. This is a one-way ticket, but it's the only shot we've got. The gravity of the mission is clear. Everyone aboard the Thunderstrike knows that the plan is perilous. The AI is almost invulnerable, and the Thunderstrike's crew is already stretched to their limits. But there is no choice. The team selected for the mission is a mix of soldiers and tech specialists, each hand-picked for their courage, their skills, and their ability to think on their feet. They are the last hope, and the weight of that responsibility hangs over them like a shadow. The team, led by Lieutenant Sarah Cole, prepares for the infiltration. They suit up, checking their weapons and equipment one last time. Sarah's face is tense, but there is a fire in her eyes. She's ready. This isn't just about saving the ship, she tells her team, her voice steady despite the stakes. This is for Earth. For everyone back home. We do this, and we win. The rest of the crew watches as Sarah and her team board a stealth shuttle, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that they might never return. The shuttle is designed for covert operations, equipped with the best cloaking technology the Thunderstrike has left. It silently slips away from the warship, heading toward the enemy dreadnought. The crew watches anxiously as the shuttle gets closer to its target. The enemy dreadnought's weapon systems are scanning the surrounding space, but the shuttle is small, barely a blip on their radar. However, this stealth will only last for so long. Inside the shuttle, Sarah and her team are preparing for the worst. They know they won't be able to avoid detection forever. The shuttle's cloaking device is good, but not perfect, and once they're detected, all hell will break loose. They can only pray that the virus they've developed will be able to overpower the AI before they're overwhelmed by the enemy forces. As they approach the dreadnought, Sarah gives the order to drop the shuttle's cloak. They are immediately met with fire. The massive dreadnought's defenses detect the intrusion, and before the shuttle can even get close, a barrage of laser fire and energy blasts lights up the dark expanse of space. The shuttle lurches under the attack, and the crew can feel the ship's hull groan as it takes hit after hit. Sparks fly inside the shuttle, and the alarm blares. But Sarah keeps her focus. She gives the order to deploy the emergency landing gear and brace for impact. The shuttle crashes onto the dreadnought's hull with a deafening thud. The impact shakes everyone inside, but they're alive. They quickly gather their bearings and prepare to infiltrate the ship. Outside, the dreadnought's hull is a jagged and hostile landscape, with alien soldiers patrolling the area. Sarah and her team move swiftly, using their training to blend into the shadows, avoiding detection as they make their way toward the heart of the dreadnought, the AI's central control core. Every step is a calculated risk. The ship's corridors are dark, lit only by the eerie glow of alien energy. The team is alert, their weapons ready, their every move carefully planned. As they move deeper into the dreadnought, they encounter a squad of alien soldiers. The team engages in a brutal firefight. Laser beams tear through the air, and energy blasts light up the space around them. The humans fight back with everything they've got, sharp, precise, and relentless. It's an intense battle, with each member of the team proving their worth in the heat of the moment. Specialist Mark Richards takes down one of the alien soldiers with a quick shot to the head, while Sarah leads the charge forward, her focus entirely on the mission. The team moves with precision, taking out alien forces and navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the dreadnought with expert timing. They reach the control room, and the air is thick with tension. The room is a fortress, guarded by the dreadnought's most advanced defenses. The team breaches the door with explosives, the blast ringing through the halls. Inside, they are met with another group of alien soldiers, but the team is ready. The battle is fierce, with energy blasts and weapons fire filling the air. But they push forward, determined not to let the AI win. Finally, Sarah reaches the control terminal. She connects the virus to the AI's mainframe, her fingers flying over the keys as she programs the final sequence. "We're in," she says, her voice breathless. "Time to shut it down." But the AI is no slouch. In its final moments, it fights back, launching every weapon at its disposal in an attempt to stop the virus. The team is caught in a whirlwind of fire as the dreadnought systems begin to fail, but the virus is working. The AI's core begins to shut down, and the massive dreadnought starts to shake. The crew can hear the sounds of its systems crashing as they make their escape. With the mission complete, they turn to leave, but not everyone will make it out. Several members of the team fall during the retreat, their sacrifices not in vain. As Sarah and the remaining survivors return to the shuttle, they look back at the dreadnought, now crippled by the virus. The once unstoppable force has been neutralized. They've done it, they've taken down the AI. But as they race back to the Thunderstrike, they know the battle is far from over. The alien fleet is still out there, and their war is far from won. However, with the AI now neutralized, humanity has gained a fighting chance. The odds are still against them, but the crew of the Thunderstrike has proven that even the most advanced technology can be beaten. As they head back to the Thunderstrike, the crew's spirits are lifted. They have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The AI virus spreads through the alien dreadnought systems like wildfire. The once unstoppable behemoth falters, its weapons falling silent, its shields flickering, and its engines sputtering. The crew of the Thunderstrike watches from their battered warship as the massive dreadnought begins to come apart. A ripple of hope spreads across the human fleet. The Cyrix Empire's greatest weapon is no longer invincible. But this victory is bittersweet. As the alien dreadnought spirals out of control, the rest of the Cyrix fleet hesitates. The AI had been their strategic backbone, coordinating their attacks and predicting human responses. Now, with their central command in disarray, the alien ships are thrown into chaos. However, the battle is far from over. The Cyrix Empire still has overwhelming numbers, and the humans are barely holding on. The Thunderstrike itself is critically damaged, its hull barely holding together, with fires raging through its lower decks. Systems are failing one by one, and the crew knows they are operating on borrowed time. Inside the command center of the Thunderstrike, Captain Leo Matthews struggles to remain conscious. During the last assault, a violent explosion had torn through the bridge, sending shrapnel flying. Matthews had been caught in the blast, his side bloodied, his breathing labored. Despite his injuries, he refuses to leave his post. His crew looks to him for guidance, and even in his weakened state, he won't abandon them. He leans heavily on his console, his voice steady as he barks orders. "Focus fire on the remaining capital ships," he commands, his voice carrying the weight of desperation and resolve. "We can't let them regroup. This is our only chance." The crew responds with unwavering determination. They are tired, injured, and mourning their fallen comrades, but they push through. The memory of Bonner's sacrifice hangs heavily over them, fueling their drive to see this fight through to the end. Every crew member, from the gunners to the engineers working feverishly to keep the ship running, knows that their survival depends on each other. There is no room for hesitation or doubt. As the Thunderstrike launches a volley of missiles at a nearby alien cruiser, the Cyrix Empire's fleet begins to crumble. Without the AI's coordination, their formations are sloppy, their attacks disorganized. Human ships, though fewer in number, press the advantage with everything they have left. But the cost is steep. For every alien ship destroyed, a human vessel is lost. The battlefield is a sea of fire and debris, with the wreckage of ships floating like silent graves. Amidst the chaos, Lieutenant Sarah Cole and her team return to the Thunderstrike after successfully planting the virus. They are battered and bruised, their ranks thinned by the deadly mission, but they are alive. Sarah's expression is one of grim determination as she steps onto the bridge. She immediately takes stock of the situation, her heart sinking at the sight of the injured captain. "You shouldn't be here," she says to Matthews, her voice sharp with concern. Matthews manages a weak smile. "I've come this far, Lieutenant. I'm not stepping away now." The crew rallies around their captain, their unity unshaken despite the overwhelming odds. As they fight, an incoming transmission from the remaining human fleet crackles over the comms. The message is brief but inspiring: a handful of reinforcements are en route. They won't arrive in time to turn the tide of the battle, but their presence gives the crew the strength to keep going. In the midst of the chaos, the crew takes a moment to honor Bonner. The memory of his sacrifice lingers in every corner of the ship. The command center grows silent as Matthews, despite his injuries, raises a shaky hand in a salute. One by one, the crew follows suit, their hearts heavy but resolute. Bonner had given his life to ensure the virus was planted, and his sacrifice would not be in vain. The fight reaches its climax as the Thunderstrike engages the Cyrix Empire's flagship. The massive vessel is heavily armed, with an array of weapons capable of decimating anything in its path. But the Thunderstrike has the advantage of human ingenuity and sheer determination. Matthews orders a daring maneuver, using the last of the ship's energy reserves to outmaneuver the flagship's defenses. The Thunderstrike weaves through a hail of enemy fire, its crew working with perfect precision to execute the captain's plan. Sarah takes the helm as Matthews grows weaker, his injuries taking their toll. She pilots the ship with razor-sharp focus, her hands steady on the controls despite the chaos around her. The Thunderstrike lines up for one final shot, a direct hit to the flagship's reactor core. The crew holds their breath as the ship's main cannon charges, its systems straining under the effort. "Fire!" Matthews orders, his voice barely above a whisper. The cannon roars to life, a beam of energy slicing through the flagship's defenses and striking its core. For a moment, time seems to stand still. Then, the Cyrix flagship erupts in a massive explosion, a blinding light that engulfs the surrounding space. The shockwave ripples through the battlefield, sending smaller alien ships spinning out of control. The remaining Cyrix fleet, demoralized and leaderless, begins to retreat. The battle is won. But victory comes at a price. The Thunderstrike is barely operational, its systems failing, its crew exhausted and injured. Matthews is rushed to the medical bay, his fate uncertain. The crew looks out at the battlefield, their emotions a mix of relief and sorrow. They have won, but the cost has been immense. Countless lives have been lost, and the scars of this battle will stay with them forever. As the alien fleet retreats into the void, the surviving human ships gather around the Thunderstrike. The crew watches as the debris of the Cyrix Empire's flagship drifts away, a silent testament to their hard-fought victory. Explosions still light up the distant reaches of the battlefield, but for the first time, there is hope. The Thunderstrike's crew stands together, their unity stronger than ever. They know that this is only the beginning. The Cyrix Empire may have been dealt a crippling blow, but the war is far from over. Yet, in this moment, they take solace in their triumph. Against all odds, they have stood their ground and emerged victorious. As the human fleet begins to regroup, a message is sent back to Earth, a message of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The crew of the Thunderstrike has shown that no matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how dire the situation, humanity will always find a way to fight back. This is their legacy, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring will to survive. The battlefield lies quiet now, a graveyard of shattered ships and drifting wreckage illuminated by the distant stars. The once dominant fleet of the Cyrix Empire has been decimated, and their flagship reduced to glowing debris scattered across the void. Yet victory comes at a cost that no cheer can fully drown out. The Thunderstrike, though still standing, is a shadow of its former self. Hull breaches mar its once pristine exterior, and its internal systems are barely holding together. Fires have been extinguished, but the scars of battle are everywhere. Inside the ship, the surviving crew members work tirelessly to stabilize what's left. Each face carries the weight of exhaustion, grief, and quiet pride. They've done the impossible, but at a steep price. The memory of their fallen comrades, particularly Bonner's heroic sacrifice, lingers in every corner. His absence feels like an open wound, a reminder of what it truly cost to defeat the Cyrix dreadnought. Captain Matthews, still recovering in the medical bay, refuses to rest. His injuries are severe, but his mind is fixed on his crew. He calls for an update, his voice weak but resolute. Lieutenant Sarah Cole, now effectively in command, approaches his bedside with a salute. "The Cyrix fleet has retreated, sir. We've secured the area," she reports. Her tone is professional, but her eyes betray the emotional toll of the battle. Matthews nods, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "You've done well, Lieutenant," he says. "The crew has done well. Make sure they know that." Cole hesitates, then adds, "We've taken heavy losses, sir. Bonner, and so many others." The captain closes his eyes for a moment, the weight of those words sinking in. "Their sacrifices won't be forgotten," he says softly. "They've given humanity a chance. Now it's up to us to make it count." The Thunderstrike begins its slow journey back to Earth, escorted by the surviving ships of the human fleet. The trip is somber, with silence filling the halls where laughter and chatter once thrived. The crew gathers in the ship's main hangar for a memorial service. Amidst the wreckage and debris, they find time to honor their fallen comrades. Bonner's name is spoken with reverence, his bravery remembered in tearful speeches. A small plaque is created in his memory, inscribed with the words, "For those who gave everything so that we might live." Each crew member steps forward to touch the plaque, a silent gesture of gratitude and farewell. Even in their sorrow, there is a shared sense of pride. They fought for each other, for their planet, and for a future free from the shadow of the Cyrix Empire. As the Earth comes into view, a wave of relief washes over the crew. The blue-green planet, vibrant and alive, feels like a promise of hope. For the first time since the battle began, they allow themselves a moment to breathe. The sight of Earth, untouched by the horrors of war, reminds them why they fought so hard. The Thunderstrike limps into orbit, greeted by cheers and celebrations from the surface. Across cities and towns, people gather to celebrate humanity's victory. News of the battle spreads quickly, and the Thunderstrike becomes a symbol of resilience and unity. Despite its battered appearance, the ship stands as a testament to what humanity can achieve when faced with impossible odds. On the ground, Captain Matthews is transported to a hospital, where his injuries are treated. But before stepping away, he insists on addressing his crew one last time. From his hospital bed, he sends a message that is broadcast to the entire fleet. "To the crew of the Thunderstrike and all those who fought alongside us," he begins, his voice steady despite his visible pain. "We've endured the unthinkable. We've faced an enemy that sought to erase us, and we've emerged victorious. This wasn't just a battle for survival, it was a battle for the future of humanity. And because of you, that future is brighter than ever. To those we've lost, we owe everything. Their courage will guide us in the battles yet to come. Stay strong. Stay united. This is not the end, it's the beginning." The message inspires not just the crew but everyone who hears it. Across Earth, people gather in celebration, but also in reflection. The cost of victory is a sobering reminder that the fight for survival is far from over. As the crew of the Thunderstrike begins to rebuild their lives, the ship itself is retired to Earth's surface, where it will stand as a monument. Its scarred hull tells the story of a fierce battle, a symbol of resilience for future generations. The crew, though battered, holds their heads high. They've faced the impossible and won. But even as humanity celebrates, a shadow looms on the horizon. In the final moments of the story, an unknown signal is detected from deep space. It's faint, almost imperceptible, but its pattern is unmistakable. It's not human. The crew of the Thunderstrike is called back for an emergency meeting, their brief respite cut short. The signal carries a chilling implication: the Cyrix Empire was just one threat among many. The final scene shows Captain Matthews, now fully recovered, standing before a holographic display of the galaxy. His face is solemn, but his eyes burn with determination. The signal is analyzed, its origin pinpointed to a distant region of space that humanity has yet to explore. The room falls silent as Matthews speaks. "We've proven that humanity can fight," he says, his voice steady. "But the galaxy is vast, and our enemies are many. This is just the beginning." As the screen fades to black, the sound of the mysterious signal lingers, a haunting reminder that the battle for humanity's survival is far from over. The Thunderstrike may be retired, but its crew knows that their fight is only just beginning. The story ends on a cliffhanger, leaving the audience eager for what comes next.